Bell rolls is the reporter thrown into the secretive world of the Forex Super Model, where nothing is as it seems. Beware the techno monk, and steer clear of Professor Code and his two assistants. Give the senior trader a wide berth, and don't expect any sense from the risk manager.
Good morning, I'm Professor Code. This is the Forex Super Model review for Tuesday the 23rd of November 2021. Time is just coming up to 4:30 in the morning GMT. Asian session coming to close, European session firing up, our lunchtime, North American session. Right, yesterday then, Monday the 22nd, we had a positive opposed driver in the dollar, plus 205. Front and back door flows, mainly coming out the yen at minus 181, out the euro at minus 27. And the pound was the positive rocket, plus 3, activity plus or minus 208. And we've got this over the week then, intra-week. This is from Monday the 22nd. Yesterday opened to about 15 minutes ago. Excuse me. We've got a negative opposed driver in the yen, minus 251. Front and back door flows, mainly going into the dollar at plus 219, into the pound at plus 34, and the euro is a negative rocket, minus 2, activity plus or minus 253. So you can see that the actual batting order, yen, euro, pound, dollar, is the same, but the drivers are different. Yesterday we had the dollar driving positively, and over the week we've had the yen driving negatively. So that's something to bear in mind. Intraday, this is the Asian session to about 15 minutes ago. We've got a negative unopposed driver in the yen, minus 71, no backdoor flows. The opposing positive flows mainly going into the pound at plus 131, into the euro at plus 27, and the dollar is the positive rocket, plus 13, activity plus or minus 71. So Asian flows are carrying on the weekly theme, and the yen is actually fully weakened into the unopposed negative driver. And we've got a shift in batting order here. We've got a fall off in the dollar to the rock, and the euro has come back a little bit, but it's the pound that soaks up the positive flows. And we'll stop it there and talk about that in a bit, but and write up the flows. Right, we've written up the flows then. So the euro is strong except against the AUD. The yen is weak except against the NZD. The pound is strong except against the AUD. The Swiss is weak except against the yen and the NZD. The CAD is weak except against the yen, the Swiss and the NZD. The AUD is strong across the board. The NZD is weak across the board, and the dollar is strong except against the euro, the pound and the AUD. So what have we got? We've got AUD strength across the board, NZD weakness. We've got secondary strength in the euro here, apart from the AUD. So that's and we've got secondary weakness in the yen, apart from the NZD. So we've got plus, minus. Now, what's been knocking it about? Well, we had the New Zealand dollar NZD retail sales, which were very negative. And bear in mind, we got the rates decision early Wednesday morning, in our time zone, and obviously the Reserve Bank of New Zealand will know about that data in advance and be factoring that in. So that's something to bear in mind. Anyway, so we've had negative New Zealand data, which the market has taken as pretty negative. And today we've got, which is Tuesday the 23rd, we've got German, European and GBP PMIs. So we've got inflation data coming out, and we've got this Biden speech on the inflation and the cost of living in America. So they're obviously twitching about inflation not being transitory and all the rest of it. So that will be interesting. And Wednesday the 24th, tomorrow, we've got New Zealand rates decision, as we said. We've got US durable goods, US GDP, and the kicker is the FOMC, the Fed minutes, which will be our early evening, our time. So we'll stop it there, write up the asset classes, and then do the final analysis. Right, we've written up the asset classes then. So US dollar index basically did a break. It's up at the highs. It's plus 0.45 from the resistance. So it's broken 45% above the resistance. It's holding the highs. Dollar's strong. Gold Gold has actually reacted to that yesterday, and it's come off to 0.43 from the high, so a big thump down in gold, relatively speaking. Oil did this break. It's now just above the break. It's 0.40 from the high, but it's come off, so the break was just over 40% in oil. Wall Street, S&P Tech. Wall Street then, it's nearly come back to the previous break. It's 0.18 from the high, so it broke about nearly 20%, and it's nearly back to the previous resistance. S&P is holding a bit better, a lot better, 0.05 from the high, so it's 5% off the high. And the tech did a secondary break, as you remember, and it's come back really to the secondary break. So it's not, the secondary break was about 5%, so, and it's back to there really, so it's 0.05 from the high. Copper chopping about 0.5, half marks. US steel above half marks at 0.33 from the high, about a third off the modelled high. Right, so let's get rid of that then, and let's have a look what we think is going to happen today as we run into this inflation data, and tomorrow New Zealand rates decision and the Fed. So let's grab all this gear and have a look. And, right, so dollar, euro, yen, pound, CAD, AD, NZD, Swiss. Right, so we've had some pretty negative retail sales. We've got the rates decision coming. The market's pumped the NZD down already. It's the week across the board. The dollar, and we've got some PMIs. Is it? Hang on, let's have a look. No, we've got durable goods and GDP, and the FOMC minutes on Wednesday. We've got PMIs in Europe coming out today, and in the pound as well, and oil has come off, just to give you a bit of context. Right, so that's where we are sort of in. If you look at the flows, you can see that over the week then we've had this weak yen driving. Yesterday we had a strong dollar taking over, but we still, overall in the week, we still got this weak yen. And then in the Asian session we've got this totally weak yen, to the exclusion of all else in the majors. It's the unopposed negative driver, and the pound is sweeping up the bulk of the flows. The euro is pretty strong, and the dollar is just the positive rock. Right, so the key thing to think about then is the dollar index is up near the top. However, the US 10-year yields are broken down. So US 10-year, if you look at the, they've basically chopped through the price, which means that they've broken the support. So that there's potential for more dollar strength. That's what we're saying really. And gold has run for the hills, also suggesting that there's potential for more dollar strength as well. So if you look at where we are in terms of sort of positive and negative here, so we could be having more dollar strength. The yen is very soft. So the yen's neutral to negative off the back of the equity transmission and the way the flows are going. The pound is sucking in relatively strong flows there, positive, and so is the euro. So you've got this sort of twisted sort of flow cycle here. You've got potential for a little bit further dip in the dollar, rise in the dollar. Off the back of this short break in support on the US 10-year, but as I said, we are getting to the point where the euro was showing us earlier and last week that it was signs of topping out. So the chances is that you might get a little bit more dollar strength just off the back of the things we've just mentioned, and then we're going to start to see reversal. It depends what Biden says. If Biden's likely to sort of throw lots of carrots out there for people to latch onto, and the likelihood is he'll take the steam out of the dollar, because if he doesn't take the steam out of the dollar, then you've got inflation cooking up, and he will know about the data that's coming out. He will know that US durable goods and US GDP, for example, and you'll know what's in the Fed minutes, obviously. But right, so where are we then? So to summarise then, we think today we're going to have the last knockings of dollar strength. So if you get dollar strength, you're going to get yen neutral to negative. The pound and the euro seem to want to be sucking up the positive flows. So that's so you've got this. So you've got a lot of positive there. But the likelihood is the market's not going to move that much just directly towards the Fed. So the main movers may well be elsewhere, apart from the majors, and you're going to see the New Zealand dollar possibly get a real hammering. So it's because the New Zealand dollar may be in a mood for negative flows, so which has already started to happen. And if you get significant negative flows out the New Zealand dollar, it's going to benefit the AUD to a certain extent, which it already is, and the CAD's not particularly in a strong position because of the oil cycle. So you could see the AUD NZD in play, really. So there's likely to be upward pressure there and downward pressure there. So have a look at the NZD AUD or AUD NZD or whatever it is in terms of strength in the AUD, weakness in the NZD today, and keep an eye on these flows. As I said, they're messy now. These flows are messy. We had Euro strength showing signs of now, and now we're back to dollar strength. So we're just getting the last knockings of this turnaround. But this may well be where the action is, NZD AUD. So I hope that was useful. See you tomorrow for the briefing. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.